Stop. Listen, don't move. I got some important information for you. Ride Along Live is moving to TikTok. And we want to take you along with us.
I'm beginning to have some serious second thoughts about this.
No, I'm not going to be dancing or nothing like that. You won't see that. But it's going to be excitement. It's going to be fun. And we're on TikTok.
Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
So click the link at the bottom and follow us on TikTok. It will be a TikToking experience. Follow us on TikTok and let's expand the platform together.
Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291-3823.
Welcome to Ride Along Live for today. Welcome to the ride. As you guys come and go ahead and share up the thing right now. Yeah. Hey, V, how you doing? Welcome to the ride. Thank you so much. Good evening, one and all. I'm seeing everybody. Welcome. Got so much cameras sometimes I have to try to figure out which one I have to look at, yeah? All right, guys, so listen, I just got back from Florida, guys. Literally got off the plane, all right? And today we have an interesting program for you. But before I play back that program, I wanted to chat with you guys briefly. Because, listen, I have to big up the viewers, the supporters of this platform. You guys are simply the best. No one better. I can't ask for a better set of fans, followers, and supporters, right? Because the love and support that I've gotten, that the whole platform I've gotten over the past couple weeks, man, has been tremendous. Tremendous, I tell you. I mean, we reach out to you guys a lot, sometimes, you know, to aid in the effort of other people. And sometimes in this particular week, I really see and feel the love that this whole platform have. You know, I was speaking to a past guest that came on the program, and hey, Lacey, big up yourself. And she was expressing to me how happy she is because, and I didn't know this, right? I didn't know this at all. She came on the program and she shared her story. She was going through tremendous heartache, tremendous problems at the point in time. And she came and she shared her story. And one of our dedicated ride-along viewers, guys, decided to not only support that lady with funds, right? But that person decided to basically adopt this individual. So she have been getting regular support. And I'm talking about sometimes a bi-weekly basis. She is being adopted by this person. I knew nothing about this. I knew absolutely nothing about this. So she gave me a big old hug and she was saying how gratifying, how grateful she was for the platform. Yeah, man. And I just had to say, yo, a tear almost come from my eye. Trust me. So happy to hear this, guys. And I have to say thank you guys so much. You know, to date, I did a calculation. To date, right? We have raised and supported possibly in upwards of $100,000, no lie, in support from you, the viewers, you, the supporters. When it was St. Vincent and the Grenadines, people came up, we raised over $10,000 in an hour. Man, listen, nobody else does it like Ride Along. And I had to say thank you guys so much, because whenever someone else is down, we, the supporters, you, the supporters, see the need because you feel the need to pay it forward. And I have to say, bonks for that, tokes for that. Yeah, man, tokes for that. Really appreciate that. Good evening to you, Serafina Kwashi. We really appreciate you guys. I really wanted to say this, guys. Now, today's program, we're going to talk about this story right here. I'm going to play back that story that I did previously about this story, right? Having to do with this young lady. You're going to hear the whole story, by the way. When she was 5 years old, ladies and gentlemen, 5 years old, she was raped by her grandmother's husband, not her biological grandfather, right? And what you will hear in that interview as well is not only that she was raped by that man, but that man basically passed through the entire family. He possibly have raped everyone in the family. You're going to hear the touching and emotional story in a little while. Very, very emotional. And I was checking on some statistics. Hey, Serafina, hey, Lacey, big up yourself. I was checking on some statistics. What's this other study? Reward money, missing computer. All right, we'll talk about all that. I was looking at some statistics, guys. And the statistics are that almost 60+% of women, right, who either lived in the Caribbean, and you guys could tell me if that statistic is right or wrong, almost over 60% have somehow been molested by a family member, molested by a close friend or family member. Oftentimes, and the statistic went on to say that it is in the Caribbean region, and it's so high in the Caribbean region because oftentimes what happens is, you know, your mother, your father, your primary guardian sometimes may migrate to the United States and other places to basically sort out the family. So sometimes the daughter, the son are left with secondary guardian. And sometimes, well, most times, the secondary guardians are not even as attentive to that child as the mother will, or the mother is, right? So oftentimes we see a high number of sexual related incidents between Caribbean nationals. And this is freaking alarming. 60-something%. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? And I was shocked. But when I read closer into the statistic, it has to be accurate. Because I asked a few of my friends, randomly, and if they themselves wasn't sexually molested by a family member, someone in their family or someone that they know very close was sexually molested by a family member. Yes. And as they say, oftentimes it's someone that you trust. Not the stranger, not the person coming through your window, not the random person that you might meet in the park or in the mall. No, is a close family member, guys. So this story here will bring it all into perspective because it shows that we have a lot of problems, man. We have a lot of freaking problems. And this thing is like, it's not getting fixed. It's not getting better. Who is fixing? Who is focused? What government? What administration? Whatever is really focused on that sector of an obsessed amount of sexually related incidents among young kids in our Caribbean region. Crazy. So I want to play back this for you guys. I want you guys to listen carefully to it because she touched on a number of things. And a couple of the things we could probably even work towards preventing a situation like that from happening again. All right? So, very important. I'm going to play that back. Before we do that, guys, a couple of things that came through the wire this weekend. I want to touch on it briefly. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but radio personality Lista Noel, he passed away earlier today. So we send out our condolences to the fraternity. This guy is a brilliant comedian, radio personality. He hosted the Mashgra a couple times. He's a comedian, and he had complications after an accident that he had months ago, and he never fully recovered. So we send out our condolences to the family of Lista Noel, budding radio personality, young, upcoming radio personality, but definitely have $1 million personality, man. This guy is very funny, I heard. I mean, I didn't know him personally. I had probably had minimal conversations with him, but the people that I've spoken to and spoke about him, they spoke of him in very high regards. Very bright future ahead. So rest in peace to Lister Noel. On the up and up tip, not all bad news, guys. Adjamo Edson Mitchell the Adjamo, he officially got baptized over the weekend. So Edson Mitchell the Adjamo, kudos to you, my brother. He's going to be singing a new kind of song. He's going to be singing to the Lord. So congrats and big up to Edson Mitchell the Adjamo. What else? Really quickly, I got to go through this before I play back that interview, guys. Okay, celebrating 100, Miss Morel Mitchell, that's the mother of Dr. Keith Mitchell. She celebrated a milestone over the weekend. 100 years. That's a milestone. That is a milestone. Yeah, definitely a milestone. Happy birthday. And she's strong and she looking good, dancing and everything. All right? We could only hope that we could leave a milestone like that. 100 years, it's a lot of years, a whole lot of years. What else? Really quickly, guys, really quickly. We're playing bingo on the 28th, guys. We are playing bingo on the 28th, all right? We are playing bingo on the 28th. Now, this is what I want you guys to do. Whether now or after the program, get your ticket, because we're only going to have a limited amount of tickets. It's the virtual bingos, which means you could be in Timbuktu and you're still playing. You could be in Timbuk 1, Timbuk 2, and you're still playing. All right? Get your ticket. Ticket's only $5. But get this, guys. The jackpot is $500. And also, we have 3 games. So game number 1, we're playing for an Apple AirPod. We're playing for a brand new Apple iPod. And then the jackpot of $500. Live entertainment, real vibes. So, guys, get your tickets for this game. It's going to be 3 games of bingo, $5. And you get your ticket. Let me type in where you can get your ticket. It's called rydebuy.com. Rydebuy.com. Get your tickets at this link right here. rydebuy.com. Tickets only $5. Tickets only $5. Maryland, that's how you get your ticket. You go to rydebuy.com and get your tickets. Tickets only $5. And you could win up to $500. That's the jackpot. But we also have an iPad and also an AirPod that you could also win. Right? So, guys, you get your tickets for our bingo, and that's on the 28th. I want to see everybody on the Ride Along family to be in and playing that bingo. It's a virtual bingo, so you could be anywhere and be a part of the bingo. All right? Okay? All right. Lydia say, I knew him personally. I knew him the day he got his breakthrough in comedy. I was present at the Deluxe Cinema judging Calypso Bad's tent. Yeah, Lister, man. Yeah, I've seen that brother, and it's sad when a young budding media personality gone so soon. All right, okay. So we have all the questions there, guys. 500, Patricia say 500 is not enough. Okay, Patricia, I know it's not enough, so make it enough. Put another $500 on top of it, right? Remember, this is a fundraiser. What we do here, when we make money from our bingos, from our brunches, from anything that we do here on Ride Along, guess where it goes back? It goes right back into assisting people and possibly back into your pocket. So people who needs the assistance. This year, we're doing the ham sale. We're giving away 100 ham. That goes right back into it. So $500 is a lot. All right. And over the next month, because we try to do this at least once a month, right? We'll be increasing it, doing more things as we get more sponsors on board. So $500 may not sound like a lot, but if you put imagine if you put $5, you know, you put $5 and you win $500. $5. I give you $5. I give you $5. You give me $500. So if you want your bingo ticket, guys, if you want your bingo ticket, you get your ticket, go to www.rydebuy.com. That's rydebuy.com. Type in Ride, RYDE, BUY.com. That's the link for the tickets, guys. That's the links for the ticket. You get your ticket right there, and we're playing bingo. Okay? We're playing bingo. Yes. All right, guys. So get your tickets. In fact, while you're watching the program, just get your ticket. In fact, you could get 4 tickets. Everybody get 4 tickets. That's what all you should do. All you should just get 4 tickets. It increases your chances of winning the $500. What do you say? Can we make something Samsung? All right. Next one, we're going to make something Samsung, guys. Next time, we're going to make something Samsung. Okay? All right. I promise you. Again, guys, we got to tell you this really quickly before we play back the interview, right? We are having our first, not our first, our virtual bingo. And for everyone that you see doing virtual bingo, we were the first to do it. If you guys remember, we was the first to do the virtual bingo. All right, so we're not new to this. We're true to this. Our virtual bingo is going to be live on Ride Along. It's on October 28th. It's on October 28th. It's on October 28th. It starts at 6 and it goes up to 6 and it goes up to 8 p.m. Live entertainment. We have the Apple AirPod and then the iPod. The jackpot is $500. Now, if you live in an area you don't have a credit card and you want to pay by cash, that's fine. That's no problem. You can still pay by cash, okay? You could pay with cash. You call us up and you could pay with cash. You still get your ticket. It's very easy how you play this, guys. All you do after you make your purchase, we send you the ticket via your text or via your email, right? You get your bingo ticket in your text and your email. It's very easy. All you have to do, follow it and ride along. And whenever you get bingo, all you have to say is bingo. Just type in bingo. And we see it. We check your ticket numbers and the winner. Just like that. Instant payoff. No time. We ain't wasting no time. Instant payoff. Just so. All right, I already have a tablet, AirPod, and $500. You need to go bigger. Okay, Patricia. Well, we probably not this time, but probably next time we could meet your needs. All right, how about that? All right, you should just buy some ticket just to sponsor, just to support the thing now. All right, guys, let's go into this interview right now. Right. So as I said, this is an interview that I want a lot of people to pay attention to because I think that it would answer a lot of questions and try to help out people who have been through similar situation. This young lady, at the age of 5, she was molested by her mother boyfriend, or grandmother boyfriend, husband, I should say. All right, this is the story, guys. Check it out. Who has such an interesting story to tell, and such a shocking story too at that. Our next guest, we piqued my attention after I got a chance to see her video and her recollection of what happened to her at a very early age. I know we did stories on this program before dealing with abuse and sexual abuse, but none quite like this one. I would like to welcome our guest on the program right now. Larissa, welcome to Ride Along.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for having me, Junior.
Well, it's my pleasure to have you on the program here. I want you to also take the opportunity to big up the folks that's watching all over the world. And they come here, not for me, but for you. They come here to support you, to hear your story. They come here to hear everything about you. So take the opportunity to big them up.
Well, hello, everyone. Hi from Larissa to everyone that's watching. Hello.
Yes. And guys, as I said, this story, you have to sit down for this one. I want you guys to get really relaxed. If your phone is not on charge, I want you to make sure you put it on charge, because I don't want you to miss a second of this ride along. It is both inspirational You might get teary at times, but I guess at the end we're gonna you'll see the inspiration behind it. All right, so get relaxed, guys, and I'm gonna get relaxed as well as we go ahead with this particular program. Right, first, so Larissa,
Yes.
how was your day today? How was your day? How was the Tuesday?
My day was interesting. I enjoyed my day because I was actually packing some stuff to be sent off to my island for some girls. So I actually enjoyed that part of my day.
Right, and what island are you from?
I am from Jamaica, the beautiful island of Jamaica.
Okay, all right.
And if I seem a little bit distracted, I'm trying to share this on my page right now. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that your fans in Jamaica and around the world would be delighted to hear your story here on Ride Along, as we will as we here are also would be delighted to listen as well. All right. All right. So
Okay.
let's start from the beginning. Let's go back. As a young girl growing up, how was life for you?
The early stages of my life was actually very pleasant. I was born into a family. I had my mom, my dad, my siblings, and the first few years of my life was pretty normal. I could say I was born into a well-to-do family. My dad was well known and had several businesses, and somewhat, I wouldn't dare to say we were rich, but we were okay. So the first few years of my childhood was very normal and good.
Right, right. No
Yeah.
real problems. A regular young life,
Yeah.
growing up and stuff like that. When do you recall things started to change for you? At what age?
At 5, things took a turn for me at age 5.
And
Yes.
what happened?
My parents went out of town one day and decided that I had to stay over at my grandmother's house.
Yes.
And my mom and dad made the decision to leave me there. And unfortunately, on their way back, my dad's vehicle broke down, so they couldn't make it back in time. So I had to spend the night at my grandmother's house. And what happened there changed my life forever. My first night staying over there, and my grandmother's husband, when it began getting dark, I remember him coming into the room on me and asking me a series of questions, and followed by him sticking his tongue down my throat and sticking his fingers where they didn't belong. And that's where it all began for me.
So the male figure, it's your grandmother's husband.
Correct.
Okay, but he's not your
He's not my biological
biological
grandfather.
grandfather.
No.
Okay, so
But he's all the grandfather I've known. So, yeah.
so the first time he did it, you were 5 years old, right?
I was 5.
And what did
And
you,
it started with him kissing and using his fingers, the digital penetration, yes.
and at that age, like, I mean, you're 5 years old. Did you think that at that time you're thinking that something is wrong with that, right?
I knew something was wrong immediately because the questions that he started asking me was, first of all, when I got into the room, it just felt different. It did not feel right. And followed by the questions that he was asking, if I knew how to kiss, if I wanted him to teach me how to kiss, all of this. At 5 years old, I knew something wasn't right. And I answered him, of course, no, I don't know how to kiss. And no, I didn't want him to teach me, but that never stopped him. So, yeah, he started kissing. And as I said, it got worse. So,
Did you ever tell your grandmother, hey, your husband is molesting me, he's making passes at me?
I never told my grandmother because that happened that night. And after he did all of that, and he told me that no one would believe me if I told, and if I said anything to anyone, he was going to harm my grandmother, he was going to harm my mother, and all of this. But it never took, because the morning after, when my mom came to get me, I told my mom what happened.
And what did your mom say?
That's the tough part. My mother checked me,
Uh-huh.
and when she brought me home, I got home and she checked me by pulling my undies down and checked me to see if he had penetrated, which he didn't. And she pulled my undies back up and told me that I shouldn't say anything to anyone, including my dad. Now, let me just get this out of the way right now before we go into anything else, is that I found out later the reason why my mom did that was because of fear, because my mom was also raped by this man from she was 6 until she was 16 years old.
Let's go back a little bit. How did your grandmother meet him?
I honestly don't know. There's certain stories that's been circulating throughout the family for years, and it was just a matter of she was dating someone else and they met, and he wanted to talk to her, and somewhere along the line they started messing around with each other, as in not doing anything yet, but what ended up happening, he wanted to talk to her, she wasn't being direct with him or whatever the case is, he ended up raping her. However, what happened after that, he raped her, but she still married him.
Hold on. So he raped your grandmother before they actually started to date?
Yes, he did.
And that didn't phase the situation. She still went on. She still married him.
She still married him. And people may be asking, how do I know that? These are my grandmother's direct words, not just to me, but to several of us, including my mom, my aunt. So that's her story she tells. He raped her, and she still married him.
Okay, so here is this guy that she already know is a rapist.
Mm-hmm.
She brought him into the house, and here he is meeting your mother.
Yes.
What happened there?
My mother is her eldest child, and she had several other daughters after my mom before he came in the picture. And what I know now to be true is that he also, as I said, he raped my mother. He began raping my mom from she was 6 years old, and my aunts. He did this not just to my mom, but to my mom's sister as well. Sisters.
So he raped your mother. Well, I'm trying. What? Oh, hold on. Let me just take a breather. I don't want to get emotional. I want to take it very calm because this is freaking alarming, right? He raped your mother, your grandmother.
Yeah.
She married him, brought him into the house. He raped your mother. In addition, he also raped your mother's sister, which is your aunt.
My aunts, yeah.
So, was he on a tyrant? Was he on a raping spree? What was wrong with this guy?
And in addition to my aunts, he went through several cousins as well. He was doing his rounds in the family before it even got to me. So, yeah, he was on, if you want to call it a raping spree, I don't know, but he was having the time of his life.
So I'm sitting here now, guys. You're watching Ride Along, and I'm watching the comments here, and I'm going to get to your comments. Big up to Chopper John West is in there. Nilsa, everyone saying that this is crazy. This is beyond crazy. This is insane, right? So I'm assuming now that he made the wrongs to the entire family. Your grandmother must have known now that this guy is no good. What action? What happened there? What action did she take to remedy the situation?
Well, for years, and still today, she says that she doesn't know. She didn't know. And that's her story that she keeps repeating. She had no idea what was going on. However, in recent years, I've concluded that my grandmother knew. If she did not know all along, she knew a few years well that something was off. And another thing that at this point, my mom and my aunts, we have gone through this and we've actually debated amongst ourselves if that's the truth, if she really could have gone so many years without having any inkling whatsoever. I don't believe that to be true, because there is a God-given mechanism that I believe and I know every woman is born with, right? And my grandmother was not exempt from that. So I knew at some point in time, especially after her nieces, a couple of her nieces had had that experience with her husband as well, and they had reported, they had spoken, but they were met with threats, they weren't believed, and the way it was handled, nothing came out of it. They were chased away, and they were told that it was said that they were lying. But I'm saying after all of this happened, you know how you got with him, what happened to you. And if you have nieces, and not just one or two, you have several nieces reporting that this man has done this to them, at some point in time, you don't stop to think, okay, something is going on here and something is not right with him. One of the biggest issue I personally have with my grandmother is that when I was living at her house and he began raping me, which this is jumping ahead in the story, but he began raping me now from 11 through 16. I was literally living at the house. At first I started going there because my mom left me somewhere else, and my grandmother had came and taken me from that place, brought me to my aunt's. But I started visiting the house. Again, unfortunately, I had to, because my aunt that I was staying with, cousins, it's her mother. So we were still told or asked to go to the house. So, but after I got to the age of 11, he amped it up, and he started raping me now. And even going to and from the house, I am thinking at some point in time, my grandmother, something had to have clicked in her head. And even when I started living with her, at nights when she's sleeping with him, she never stopped to wonder where he was getting up to go. He couldn't possibly be going to the bathroom for that long. And nothing. She kept saying she didn't know, and she still says that. But I know different.
This is very alarming. I saw someone post in the chat room earlier. They said they have to be dreaming. Now I feel the same way. I cannot imagine a human being could be so ruthless in the need, on the urge for sex, right? That he would rape an entire family. But what's even more alarming to me is that your grandmother never protected you, or never protected anyone, by possibly getting rid of him. What was her position during this whole thing? Did she ever break and say, okay, you got to get out now, this is enough is enough, I can't take it anymore? Did that ever happen?
That never happened, because as I said, till this day, she stays saying that she did not know anything about it. And what is it that we expect her to do if she didn't know anything about it? And at one point in time, I was giving my grandmother the benefit of a doubt, right? And for some reason, for my own benefit, I think I was saying, okay, honestly, probably she didn't know, because no one wants to believe, especially I'm a granddaughter, especially her daughters, to know that this is mom, this is my mother, and something is happening and you do nothing about it. Take, for example, one of my aunts. It's not my story to tell, but one of the experiences that she had is that my grandmother used to send her to his job, to his workplace. He was working in some fields,
right,
and he would send her to take lunch, send my aunt to take lunch to him every day. And she would go bawl, kicking and screaming. She does not want to go. She does not want to go. And she would still insist, and sometimes beat her to go and take the lunch to him. And every time she did that, every day he would be raping her in the cane piece. And I'm saying things like this, my grandmother never took notice of anything. But when I started realizing that my grandmother's not telling the truth totally. After I grew up and I migrated and I started traveling back and forth, a few years ago, I had gone back to Jamaica, and this was years and years ago, because my little brother was 3 then, and he's 20-something now. So one of my first trips back there, I had brought my baby brother with me, and believe it or not, I was still going back to their house, because again, that's how I was programmed growing up. We can't say anything. We have to protect my grandmother from her husband, because he's going to kill her, he's going to kill all of us, and blah blah blah. So I was still going back to the house even after I left, and I brought my baby brother with me. And I remember he had turned 3 and I decided to throw him a little party. This was his first time to Jamaica. So we were having the party for him and they threw flour. It's something that we do in Jamaica, you know, they throw flour all over. Yeah, and he panicked, and so I brought him in the house to wash him off, and I bathed him, clothed him, and was taking him back outside. And here comes my grandmother's husband, and my grandmother was sitting on the porch, on the veranda, unbeknownst to me. And her husband came up to me and said to me, "So what are you gonna give me? And didn't you bring anything for me?" And apparently I said to him, which I now remember after my grandmother told me this, that I turned to him and I said to him, "The only thing I would give you is 3 shots, 3 bullets in your head if I had a gun." My grandmother heard this, and as I said, this was back in 1998.
Right.
My grandmother heard her first grandchild say that to her husband, and as a grandmother, she never pulled me aside and she never said to me, "But no, Larissa, what kind of hatred could you possibly have for this man that you would want to put 3 bullets in his head?" Nothing. She said nothing of the sort to me. And years later now, back in 2013 and all of this, when all of this started coming out and I brought him to court and all of this, that's when she started saying to me, "Oh, she should have known," and this, that, because she heard me when I said that to her.
Right.
And she never said anything to me.
I don't want to go to the court proceeding yet because there is a part of this thing here which I don't understand.
Okay.
Your mother, she is there to protect you. Okay, say that your grandmother failed and your grandmother is protecting her husband. What was your mother's excuse for not protecting you?
Fair. And that's honestly all I can put it down to.
Right. And we
fear
understand.
and her wanting to protect her mother. And no, it sounds crazy, but that's pretty much what it boiled down to. She wanted to protect her mother because she was honestly afraid and really believing that he was going to kill her mother. And even though I am her daughter, and I know we've heard it, I've gone through it. Trust me, I've gone through years of going back and forth with my mom about the same thing. But after understanding now, because my mom, my coming to her at 5 and saying whatever, this man did whatever to me at 5 years old, I think my mom literally just went back to that 6-year-old child and just fear took over. And she did not act the way she was supposed to act, unfortunately. She did not come to my defense then, and it took her a few years to get to where she is now, but thank God she finally did. But to answer your question, that's all I can think of, and I know to be so. It's fair.
Now, Jen in the chat is asking, now, where was your father?
My father was there, but my father knew nothing about it. My dad, God rest his soul, he passed away April 2nd of last year, and he went to his grave not knowing any of this.
So he was never aware of what you was going through?
He was never told.
Now, why was this guy so fearful? Was he a big dude? Was he a police officer? Did he carry guns? Did he have machetes? Was he killing people? Why was he fearful?
That right there. No, he wasn't a big dude. He wasn't to look at. He wasn't even a scary dude, so to speak. But he was known in our household and in the community as just this very ignorant bastard. Like, he had a temper and he would flare up, and one of the things that he was really known for is that he always had a machete, and he would walk around and he would sharpen that machete in your face. You know, it's always like the scare tactic that he used to quiet all of us.
Right.
For me personally, I know it's the same tactic he used for my mom and my aunts to manipulate them, you know, fair. But for me personally, as I said, my mom and dad had migrated at this point when he began raping me. And one of the things that he used to manipulate me was that if I opened my mouth and I said anything, he was going to cut my brothers and my sisters' necks in their sleep. So as a little child, I am not going to run the risk. I don't know if he's telling the truth or not, so I wasn't going to use my siblings as a bargaining chip, but try to figure out if he's playing or not. So you do the best thing as a child. You're afraid, you keep your mouth shut. And worse, I was told to keep my mouth shut, so I did.
So you protected the situation because of the same fear that he instilled in the rest of your family. Understandable, you was young. But you went to...
I was very young.
young.
And as I said, I know it's very hard for persons, and as I'm not excluding myself from it, there was several years that I just could not understand my mother's take either. But it took me a while to figure out that's what it was. She was so traumatized, and unfortunately, that's how it showed up.
But, okay, so basically, the adult's supposed to make the adult decision, but it seemed like you were taking the brunt of the hit, literally, for the whole family.
And still am, might I add.
Oh, wow.
Because yes, now I'm considered the black sheep of the family, the outcast by some, because I am speaking. And of course, as we all know, this is the evil that you do not speak about. So many cultures, everyone sweeps it under the rug and just turn a blind eye, pretending it's not happening or it didn't happen, because of the shame and the stigma that's associated with it. But there came a point in my life, and to be exact, 2013, that I just could not deal with it anymore. I couldn't cope with it anymore.
Let me see. Somebody said Junior asked her where. Okay, now somebody was asking you where, but this she is from Jamaica, not Grenada. That happened at that point in time happened in Jamaica. No, there was
St. Thomas, Jamaica. Yeah.
No, there was 2 phases that you went through that he raped you from 5 to.
No, he fondled me at 5.
Oh, he fondled you at 5.
He fondled me at 5. The kissing, the fondling, and all of that started at 5. However, in my mother's defense, when I told my mom what happened at 5, I never went back to that house. But fast forward 5 years, and her and my dad migrated. They got the opportunity to come move overseas, and she left me at a pastor's house in another town. But when my grandmother found out about all of that, my grandmother wasn't happy about it. And so my grandmother went and took me from that house. Now, my mom and my aunt knew exactly why I wasn't able to be staying at my grandmother's house.
The same grandmother took you from the pastor house?
Yeah, my grandmother came and got me from where my mom left me.
And brought you back to that bastard house?
Okay, so the intent was for her to take me from the pastor's house and bring me back to her house. But my mom and my aunt, knowing why my mother never left me there to begin with, they decided they were going to have me stay with my aunt. So I was living with my aunt for a few years, but I was going back to the house because my aunt, she had her children and all boys. My grandmother's house was just a house that everyone went to. And so, yes, along with the boys, I was sent to the house. And that this time I started going back to the house to visit from ages 11, and it was the first time I went back to the house, he upped the ante, because now I'm not a 5-year-old anymore. Now I'm 11 years old, and I don't know what was the attraction. The man was just sick, because it's not like I had boobs. I bloomed very late, so I don't know. But yes, the first night I stayed over there, again, he struck. That's when the rape began.
So he moved up from fondling, he went full out rape on you. That first night, that first time that it happened, you was at about 11, right?
I was 11 years old the first time, he raped me.
Okay, so you're a little older at that point in time. Did you think, like, tell the police or get him arrested or
I wouldn't, because, okay, so there's several things at play here. First of all, I wasn't going to tell anyone anything because, again, from remembering what happened at 5 and after telling my mom and they told me not to speak about it, when it started happening at 11 and it got worse, by this time my brothers were living at the house. My mom and dad was no longer there, so my brothers were living there. My sister and I were still living with my aunt when he started raping me. But because he knew that my brothers were there, he would tell me every time if I opened my mouth and I said anything, he was going to cut their throats in their sleeves. I am the eldest of my siblings, and that was a weight that I had to carry, because there is no way I was going to say anything and risk him harming my siblings. I as a child, no. So no, I wasn't going to tell my grandmother. I wasn't going to tell the police. I wasn't going to tell anyone, because I had to keep it secret
You were
to
between
protect my siblings.
You was between a rock and a hard place.
You could say that.
You had to deal with it, but you couldn't tell anyone. A lot of people are asking, is he dead? Is he in jail? We're going to get to that. We're going to get to all of that stuff. We're going to get to the whole story. I promise you guys. We're chatting here with Larissa, a very, very touching story. Let me recap for those of you who just came in, right? Her grandmother's husband, he went through a raping spree on the whole family, guys. He went in on her mother, on her mother's sisters, on her cousins. He just had no regards for anyone as long as they named female. Did he rape the dog too? Because this guy look as if he's raping everything. He's sticking something inside of probably like a keyhole. Anything he get, he would push it in there. He seemed like he has no regards for anybody, no regards for anything. He just went on a raping spree. Now, you're 11, 12, 13, and he's doing this to you. You couldn't tell nobody, and your grandmother still not saying anything about this, right?
She said she didn't know about it. I spoke once again after, between, you're saying 11, 12, 13. The only other time I spoke out about what was happening was at 13 years old. And what made me speak that time, and as in telling my aunts what was happening again, which they called my mom and told her, is I caught him with my 3-year-old sister.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. He raped your 3-year-old sister too?
He never got a chance to rape her, thank God, because I caught it. I saw him before it got to that point. But what I couldn't stop was he was already fondling. He was already fondling her. He was already sticking his, So I didn't know, and I couldn't stop that part, but thank God I caught it before he got to actually raping her. Because as I said before, he began raping my mother at 6 years old. So the only thing that spared me, and my aunts from that young age too, the only thing that spared me was because I wasn't physically living at the house during that age. I had just visited at 5 that one night. So when I started going back and had to stay over and whatever, it was from 11 on. So if I didn't catch him when I did with my sister at 3, yeah, she would have had that experience too. But as I was saying,
I know this whole situation here. I mean, talking about it now, it's no laugh, it's no games, it's real life. It happened. I know the emotion that you're going through. Even coming and share your story, I really understand. But I just know that whenever you share your story, it's helping a lot of people out there that is saying, you know what, this happened to me as well. I'm not the only person that this happened to. They could relate.
That's the only reason why I do it, to be honest with you. The only reason. Let's not like laugh or second guess this. That's the only reason I speak about this. And my getting emotional just now, me talking about my experience and whatever, I've mastered that. I can deal with that. I still, however, for some reason have a major issue when it comes on to my baby sister and talking about her. So forgive that, but
no, we understand. We understand. Yeah. This guy is an evil. He's almost like an evil genius, because he's so evil, but he still knows how to get away with it. And the fear that he instilled in everyone prevent him from getting prosecuted for it.
That's what made it go on for so long. It's just the fear, and it's not just him. It's just a cycle. It's things that these are the things that pedophiles do. They manipulate and they prey on the vulnerable, and they use their tactics to keep them quiet so they can prolong this sick game that they play.
And that is true, because I remember speaking with Michelle, a Grenadian female who was sexually abused as well. She came out on the program and she told her story. And I remember one of the main things that Michelle was saying is that he always told her that if she speak out, that he's gonna kill her mother. So that's why I say it's a genius plan. Like, they psychoanalyze you and analyze what you care about, and they prey on you because they don't want you to lose a family member.
Exactly.
It's a kind of genius plan.
It is genius because in my case, I don't know if had he used the threat, even though I know I probably would not have spoken out if he was just threatening my mother, because the thing is, my mom was never there. After she got married to my dad and she left, she never really went back to the house and whatever. So I was always a very slick child. Like, my brain was always clicking. So I knew that wouldn't have stopped me from talking, because he wouldn't have gotten any access to my mother. But because my brothers were there, and my sister, I only have one sister, and everyone that knows me knows my sister's nickname is Larissa's Pocketbook, because we never left each other's side. And so he knew the love that I had for my siblings, and which is how I even ended up living back at the house. Because during those ages when he started raping me, as I said before, I wasn't living there. I was still visiting because I was being sent there by my aunts or whatever. But when I went to go back to the house to live, I was sent back there, was after a little while, things started really getting bad for my brothers, where they were being abused, not sexually,
Right.
but other things were happening. And so he knew the fact that I loved my siblings so much, and that was my weakness. I would have never opened my mouth.
Yes.
Because I had to protect them. And as I said, I'm the eldest, and my parents left, so I just figured it was my responsibility. I had to shield them at all costs.
Jenny David is asking, did he use protection, and or did any one of you guys ever got pregnant for him?
Thank God none of us got pregnant. But no, this is how you know that he's such a mastermind. This man raped each and every one of us, and he stopped at the ages that he did, because that was the ages that we all started seeing our menses. So he knew what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. And I remember a few years ago, I confronted him, my sister and I, and he literally looked at us and said to us that we're lucky that he never breed us, got us pregnant, and he never bust us up, right? So he knew with that statement alone. And by the way, when he made that comment to my sisters and my face, my grandmother, this was in our house in the US now,
Yeah.
and my grandmother was on the phone and heard him, because I called her phone in Jamaica. She was on the phone and she heard every single line that her husband said. And yet still today, my grandmother is still playing that card. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't. But she heard her husband when he said that, and she's still with him. So, go figure.
This is painful to everyone that's listening. It's heartbreaking that someone have to go through this, especially at that young age. And what is even so dramatic about this is that the guardian who is there supposed to protect you, all down the whole row, everybody failed you. Everyone failed you.
They did.
Now,
They honestly did. And that's something that, as it's just something that you have to cope with, you've lived with, or you learn to live with. But that's the reality of the situation, yes.
Yeah. And now tell us about you as a person now. The stress, the the stress you go through. Have you ever contemplated like taking your own life? Thinking it's not worth living because like you just going through so much.
I have. I not only contemplated, I actually attempted to take my life. Not once, not twice. I won't say, but
More than
I
three
did.
times? You actually tried to kill yourself
I
more than 3 times?
attempted to take my own life more than once. Yes, and you're absolutely right. The stress of having to deal with that is not just the stress; it's the pain that comes along with something like that happening to you, and you feeling as if you're alone and no one understands. And in what happened throughout my family, knowing that it happened to so many of us, and because of how all of this happened, no one was talking about it. And when I tried to speak out, even in my adult years, I was constantly again being told not to, because we had to protect my grandmother, and the shame of it is going to kill her, and all of these things. And so throughout my years, when I tried talking about it, it got to the place where even my little sister, when I would try to talk to her, I saw how bothered she was. And my sister, because she was so young, thank God, like myself too, there's some parts of it that you suppress. But for me, the memories was so much in my head, especially what I saw when I saw him with my sister, that memory is cemented in my brain. And throughout the years, having to deal with that and not having anywhere to turn and not knowing how to deal with it, you're absolutely right. In addition to what was done, because I went through a period where I felt as if it was my fault, and you felt disgusting, you felt nasty, even though now I know better, that I couldn't have stopped it or anything of that sort. But during those years where I felt as if, I can't even put into words right now, but it takes such a toll on you. You just feel unworthy, you feel unloved, you feel betrayed, you feel worthless, so to speak. And I didn't want to have to tell anybody this as growing up and dating and all of that, and it started showing up in ways that I never would have thought it would have showed up. I trusted no one. We could go on for days, but you're absolutely right. Yes, the stress level that comes with that, and having to cope. And
how did you pull yourself back from killing yourself? I mean, you could talk about it now, because I'm sure that you're in a better place. I'm sure that you went through therapy. I'm sure that you're in a much better place, much stronger place to deal with it. But at the point in time when the stress became so high, when the problems became so insurmountable, like, how did you pull yourself back from taking your own life?
To be honest with you, Junior, I don't know if I can take credit for that at all. I can only say that was just God, the mercy of God in every, and what I will not do, I won't talk about the details of how I attempted to take my life, because since recently, especially since that video, Dearest Grandma, was released, the amount of girls that have been reaching out to me, and I have very young followers, and my little babies that I call them, that's always listening and watching. So there's certain things I won't go into details about.
Yes, I understand.
So, but honestly, I can take no credit for that, because based on how things happen, I should have been dead. Time and time and time again, over and over, I should have been dead. And so I cannot honestly sit here and say I pulled myself back from anything. I can only give credit to God that He spared my life.
Yeah.
He spared my life. So that would be my answer.
Okay, let's get back to this guy now. The serial
Do we have
rapist.
to?
I guess everyone wants to know, where is he now, and how Have you ever approached him and say, yeah, what the hell? What's wrong with you?
As I said, to answer the first question, he's there. He's in St. Thomas, Jamaica, with his wife, my grandmother.
He's still married to her. She's
They're
still married
still
to him.
together.
Oh my
Junior.
God. Oh no, don't tell me.
They're very much still together. Going to bed at nights, waking up in the mornings. Yes, they're still very much together.
Up to today, up to a day like today, they're still
Oh yeah,
together.
they're still together
Very
after
interesting.
all of this. And yeah, as you said, that will come later. But during the court process and all of that, seeing this woman that they said I had to protect for over 30 years. I had to shield her and protect her from her husband when we were in court, and seeing her show up every day to court in support of her husband, you cannot imagine how that feels. I can't put into words what that feels like, because again, this is my grandmother. But as I said, she's there and he's there.
But could you understand? Here's the long question, right?
Mm-hmm.
You protected your mother, and you justify protecting her because of you didn't want anything to happen to your brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother protected him as
Her
well,
mother.
her mother, and
Mm-hmm.
her mother protected her man. So if you have to blame him, you have to blame yourself. Not to blame. I'm not saying blame yourself, because you not to be blamed. You're the victim in all of this. But I'm just showing the chronological order of this here. Probably she is thinking the same thing you thinking or you thought.
And she who? My grandmother?
Your
Or
grandmother.
my
She's
mother?
sitting there. Your grandmother sitting there saying, "I have to protect him because I'm scared the same way how everybody is scared through the channel." And I'm not saying that it's completely wrong that she had to sit there and protect him after all that he did to the family.
But protect him from who? And protect him from what exactly?
That's the other thing.
Because everyone was protecting her from the fact that he was threatening to kill her.
Right.
And I can understand that's part of the forgiving factor that I had to that place I had to get to where my mother was concerned, because I had to get to that place of understanding where my mom, going through all that she have gone through, and my mom has gone through bouts of abuse, and as I said earlier, it's not my place to tell their story, but he wasn't the only person that abused my mother. So my mother was psychologically damaged in that sense then. But the truth of the matter is, from my mother's standpoint, I can understand, because the same way I felt the need to protect her and to shield her, which is one of the reasons that it took me so long to speak, because as a daughter, and regardless of the fact that I never felt protected by her,
Yes.
I felt compelled, because I love my mom so much, to protect her. And so it kept me from talking, because I realized that my mother was still so jaded by the fact that what people were going to think, what people are going to say, the shame and the stigma that comes with it. So I kept my mouth for a long time, shielding my mom as well as my siblings. And so I understood at some point where she was coming from too, in trying to protect her own mother, because no matter what, that's her mom, and she did not want to see her mom die a violent death by this bastard.
Yes.
But now, who would she, my grandmother, who would she have been protecting him from? Because there was nothing or no one to shield him from. He was the one doing all of this and making the threats and all of that. So no one was going to attack him, or no one was threatening to do anything to him.
She's protecting him from himself. He's a waste. He's a piece of slime. He's a shitball. He's a shithole. I'm sorry. He's just not a good person. He's the devil.
I believe
there's
so.
no other way to classify him. He's not a human being, because a human being would never go through a string of, kids. There is nothing possible that a human being could look at a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old child and find that is sexually attractive about
A
that.
3-year-old, let's not forget.
A 3-year-old, there is
3-year-old
nothing,
sister.
and anyone for that matter, who have any kind of sexual inclination to a little baby, you're a sick, pathetic bastard. Sorry, but that's what you are. And that's what he is. Talk about...
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Guys, you're watching Right Along. And
Could you go talk to grandma, please? I'm doing it.
right. The mother is doing the playing the mother role, and that's what's happening right there, right now. But nevertheless, guys, we're here with on Right Along. I'm sorry, you know, you gotta give Jack his jacket. If he was doing something positive, we'll say something positive about him. But the truth and the fact about it is, he didn't do anything in this to protect his entire offspring. Her entire offspring, and the grandmother is worse, right? Worse. No. Tell me about the court proceeding. What happened throughout the court proceeding? You attempted to take him to court, correct?
I didn't attempt. I took him to court. So after all the years of going back and forth and dealing with the traumas of everything I went through, when I thought it couldn't get any worse, in 2013, I found out that he never stopped, because I migrated at 16 plus, almost 17, and my sister and I, my brothers, we all came and got reunited with my mom and dad. Mm-hmm. And we tried to put it behind us and all of that, even though that's when it started really manifesting for me in my adult years. I was having a really hard time. But in 2013 was when all crap hit the fan, when I found out that he never stopped. I found out about 2 younger cousins in 2013, and because of that, I slipped into depression, because I felt as if it was my fault for whatever happened to them. And so, long story short, then I had to start therapy, because again, the toll that it took on me then, finding out what happened to them. But as a result of all of that, I decided, with the help of my brothers, that we were going to press charges. And I found out that there wasn't a statute of limitation in Jamaica. And so I flew, one of my brothers with me, flew to Jamaica, and we walked into the police station and filed a report against him. And he got arrested.
Good.
And from there, he got bailed. My grandmother.
Oh, your grandmother bailed him out?
My grandmother put up her house, boo-boo. Put up her house and went and got her husband.
What's wrong with this woman?
And she got him out, and he was on bail. Now, the court proceeding lasting a whopping 3.5 years. And I had to be flying back and forth to Jamaica for that duration. It was very difficult, as I mentioned earlier, because, again, I think one of the most difficult things I had to encounter is not even looking at this man day in, day out, going to court, having to face him and having to talk to people that I didn't know about my story and all of that. The most traumatic part for me was showing up at court every time and sitting across from my grandmother with her husband. You know, and it wasn't just me. My mom and one of my aunts was also a part of the court proceeding. And even though her own daughters would ask her not to show up, because it made it that much harder, you know, because this is their mother. At this point, I didn't give a crap, you know, but they were having a hard time with it. I guess we all were, because to know that we shielded her for so long, and here we are at court, and we have to be looking at her, talking to her husband and being there in support of her husband. It was extremely difficult. But as I said, for 3.5 years, we did that. The court case wrapped in December of 2016. But during the period, what was happening, because of his age now, he's 80, I want to say 84. He's between 82 and 84 now. And the defense attorney, now we would need a whole nother show for that, or whatever happened at court. But long and short of it is, they tried to get him to plea, not plea, but to say that he's not fit to stand trial because of his age and health issues that he was having.
He's fit. His ass is fit. He can stand it.
Oh, he was beyond fit because, as I said, we would need a whole show to talk about all the craziness that happened in court. But the long and short of it is he ended up receiving a suspended sentence. And what that means is that he was given 2 years, 2 years that he had to serve at home, and 12 months of probation where he had to report to appeal. But that pretty much was his sentencing. But not to just leave that, because I don't want anyone thinking that, you know, that's just the Jamaican court system or nothing like that. Even though a large part of their ruling was that because, of course, he was a so-called first-time offender and he didn't have certain things against him prior and whatever, in addition to his age and the health issues that they were claiming he had, that was a part of it. And to add to the fact that, believe it or not, I did ask for leniency for him at the end.
Now that is the puzzling part, because I would think that you want to press the charges so hard that it's stuck. Why did you ask for leniency?
I did, Junior, and to be honest with you, he should have spent some time. Even when I asked for leniency for him, in all honesty, I did not know that's the sentence he was going to get. But the reason, in my own defense, why I ended up asking for leniency for him, after going to court with him for 3.5 years and seeing this man's behavior, knowing he had absolutely no remorse, because initially when I started the court proceedings, it wasn't even because of myself. It was because of my cousins, because of everyone else that had gone through this. And I thought bringing him to court would force him to take responsibility for what he did. And it would make him see, if no one else, us telling him that he hurt us and all of that wasn't getting through to him being brought to court would finally cement it in his brain that he did something wrong and he would be forced to take responsibility for that. That never happened. It didn't matter what was going on, what happened at court. The man had absolutely no remorse. He would constantly make justifications and all of that. And so at the end of the day, for me, and that's just simply for talking for myself now, him going to prison really would not have done anything for me, because still he did not have any remorse and still doesn't have any remorse for what he did. However, what I realized was causing him to cringe was the fact that when he had to come to court and people were looking at him and people were pointing fingers and knowing who he was having a hard time with that. And so for me, him being locked away and wasting taxpayers' money, because in truth and in fact, he did have some health issues, not really the ones they were professing in court. That was all a lie. But I figured the stress of it all would have killed him within a year, and him dying would not have done anything at all for me. Him sitting there, however, and watching his news, because he's an avid news reader, he reads the Gleaner and the Star in Jamaica every day.
He don't like people pointing fingers at him, right?
He doesn't. So
I'm
for
gonna
me,
point my
every
finger at
time
him
he
right
sees
now.
my
You
face,
nasty, dirty, stinking man. No, it's serious. It's
every
seriousness.
time he sees my
I want him
face,
to
and this
see
is
your
what I
face.
know for real that is happening now, is whenever he sits there and he's watching in the comfort of his home the 6 o'clock news and he sees me, he starts cussing and carrying on, and he feels ashamed and walking through the community now and people knowing. For me, that's his punishment. Being locked away, being fed 3 meals a day and nothing comes out of it for me, that wasn't going to do anything for me at all, because it still made him, it didn't do anything at all for him. Him having to hang his head now, yes, I'd rather that over him being locked away.
I want him to see this program. I want him to see the condemnation that we are making towards him. He's a slime. He did this. And I'm not saying not only to you. One is bad enough.
Mm-hmm.
But you went through the whole entire family. That's not a man. That is a devil. That is a beast. I can't wrap my head around it. It is. I want him to see this. If anyone know him, I want you guys to put this in his WhatsApp and send it off to him. and let him take a
He
look.
doesn't have WhatsApp. He's 80 something years old. His wife does, but he
Put it,
doesn't.
whoever has WhatsApp, whoever, whatever, put it in there. But listen, he's 84 years old right now. Do you think that he still have inclination of doing this?
Junior, they don't stop. This is an illness. This man is sick. He's demented. Pedophiles don't stop. You have pedophiles that are reformed, but those are the ones that actually have gone to the place where they realize something is really wrong, and they come to terms with it and they seek help. This bastard, however, that's not who he is. He sees nothing wrong with what he did. And you're asking if he has the inclination. Listen, a pedophile is a pedophile through and through. Even if he cannot manage to physically rape someone, literally what they do is they go through the grooming process where they get the little girls or the little boys and they groom them. And that's a whole nother process. We'll have to discuss at a later time, but the grooming process, and then they use the digital penetration. So even if he's not physically penetrating someone sexually,
he can't get it up, but he uses his finger on it.
He'll use his fingers. And as I said before, his prime targets are babies. And unfortunately, if there's still little girls going to this house, which I pray to God that everyone in the community should know by now and keep their children away. But if there's still girls going there, or he can have access to them, you best believe he will keep doing whatever, because they don't change.
Guys, we're going to, you know what, we're running a little bit over time, but I want to do this. I really want to do this, even if I have to take one call. Even if it's one call I have to take, guys, I want you guys to give us a call right now. This is the number, 718-701-5720. Call us up right now. We take one quick call. I want you to speak to the audience. People are very passionate about this. This is a devil. This is a nasty man. And I want somebody else other than myself and Larissa say that to his face. Guys, I want you to call this number, 718-701-5720, because he needs to get the message. And not only him. The funny thing about this whole thing, right, is there is a lot of people out there that is doing this. There is a lot of people. You wouldn't believe, Larissa, you wouldn't believe our inbox here at Ride Along. Sometimes during the week, right, we have sometimes 5 weeks of programming dealing with sexual assault. Right?
Oh, wow.
And we say we can't have 5 days straight of dealing with this. We have a call coming in. So let's just spread it around. A lot of people are doing this. Caller, hello? Hello? Hello, caller? All right, something happened there. I'm not hearing the caller.
Let me just say this while you're saying I wouldn't believe the calls that you're getting. Oh, believe me, I know. This particular evil knows no creed, no class. You best believe it's happening to just about every other family, if not every family. You can find someone that has had this experience. Since I started talking out publicly, one of the things that I hope that we get to before we wrap is what I'm currently doing. I mean, talking about my story, but I want to get to what I am currently doing now. And since I started doing some of what I've been doing.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you there. Let me just take this one call. We come to you. Caller, you live. Caller, you live.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
Hi.
I'm Victoria.
Yeah, hi, Victoria. Where are you calling us from?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. What do you want to say? What do you think about this craziness, Victoria?
Well, I'm so tired of hearing so many situations like this, because not only is something that's going on worldwide, but hitting a lot of our own communities in the Caribbean. You see, my father's Jamaican. My mom is from Grenada. And I've heard so many stories, not only from my friends who are from Jamaica, that had these same type of issues that gone on in their family.
Yes.
So what I really do.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I think I muted her call. Sorry, hold on 1 second. Let me unmute her call. Apologize. Yeah. Hello. Hello. I think I muted her call. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Okay. What I really do believe that's going on in our communities is that they're not. A lot of people are not educated when it comes to pedophiles. You cannot rehabilitate them.
True.
They need to be away from children altogether.
Yes.
And when it comes to our culture, this whole pride thing of we want to make sure that, you know, we don't want to tarnish the name, we don't want any shame, and that's what the control is, because our culture is based on our name.
Yes.
You know, we don't want to tarnish the family name. You just be quiet. We don't want anyone to know what's going on.
Yes, true.
That's the problem, and so many children are going through this in our communities, and it's heartbreaking because it's like a generational curse.
Yes.
Because you're bringing this on, and you're quiet, and then your children goes through the same thing. Then they become quiet, and it continues. And until you're educated, understands, well, this is wrong, and we have to speak out.
Yes.
That's when it's able to stop.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much, Victoria from New Jersey. We appreciate you.
welcome.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And this is true. Larissa, you were saying?
I couldn't agree with her more. That's exactly what happened and what keeps happening. Take, for example, this doctor that was just charged, whatever his name is, Nassar, whatever the case is. Now, this is the sixth cycle that keeps giving, because when you think about what is happening and these persons they're doing the act and the victims are forced into being silent, it gives them the power to keep doing this over and over. And so the cycle never stops.
Yeah.
And this is the only way the cycle is going to be broken. When they realize that victims are not taking it anymore and their behinds will be in trouble, and that we're no longer afraid. We're no longer afraid. This bastard, I think it was 158 women that spoke out against him. And I've had several people that shared that link, that video of the trial and the sentencing on my page, and I have not spoken out about it at all just yet, because of the fact that it really made me sit for the past few days, and I was just marveled and so hurt about the fact that one man was able to do this. And as the caller just said, it's just a cycle that keeps going because no one spoke about it, and so you empowered them to keep doing it. And it's one of the things that I do now when I do my speech, that I go out and I speak, is to explain to persons that the more you keep quiet about it, it's telling them that it's okay. And you give them the power to keep doing this, and don't ever for a second believe that if it happened to you, you're the only person it happened to.
Yeah.
There is not one pedophile, as I was saying earlier before you took the call. Since I started speaking publicly and even going out now and doing the Good Touch, Bad Touch campaign that I started and all of that, and hearing the children talk about this happening to them, and hearing the amount of stories by adults. That video you mentioned earlier, that was released on the 31st of December, and every single day since the 31st of December, I have not just had one, two, I have several platforms, and on every platform that I go on a daily basis, I keep hearing the same stories, and the stories are just getting worse and worse. And now I am of the belief that there's more of us with this experience than there isn't. Yeah. And this goes to show that something has to give, because all that happened was that us as survivors or as victims, when we were going through it, because we were so afraid and never spoke out about it, they figured, why the hell not?
Yeah. That is
nothing's going to happen because they're not going to talk. So, and even when we're grown, because that's another thing that's breaking my heart, and one of the reasons why I am speaking today, because since I started speaking, Junior, I have women that are 70 and 80 something years old telling me they've had this experience and they're in their 80s and they're living very traumatic lives. It's tormenting them, and they still have not spoken about it.
That is sad.
And by God, if I can save one little girl or another young woman from having to live their entire life with this trauma, it is ridiculous. Something has to give. You can't have, and these are people that we're rubbing elbows with every single day. They're in our houses. Some of us, we're married to them or we're dating them, persons that have had this experience, and they're hurting, having so much pain that they're living with, and they're not talking about it. But if you just rub on them or touch on them the wrong way, they snap. You understand? So there's several different aspects that will go into play here. And this is why one of the things that Journey to Free, or motto or tagline, is reassign the shame and speak. Because I'm not telling any and everyone to go out and do what I did. You understand? I'm not saying you have to take, even though I wish to God they would all bring their behinds in court. But I'm not saying you have to go that route or even be on a public platform, because by God, this is not easy. But find somebody, anybody, and start talking. You don't have to live with this trauma anymore.
Yeah.
You really don't. It's just, as I said, when I think about that guy, that doctor, and how many women this one man, and it's the same thing with my grandmother's husband. So far, the last time I counted, we were up to 12 persons that spoke about what he did to them. So that's 12 people in one family that I know of.
Yes.
And God forbid how many others have not spoken out about it. Because again, as the caller said, the stigma and the shame that's associated with, you know what? This much I do know, and I continue to tell persons, I have nothing to be ashamed of, and neither do they. We never asked for this. I never asked for this bastard to put his hands on me. This is not my fault. I had nothing to do with it. And so I have nothing to be ashamed of. And for all the years that I had to live with it, it's time for you to wear some of it. It's time for you to take the blunt of the shame, because I did nothing. So when people are looking at you in the community now, and you have to walk and hang your head and you see people whispering, yes, deal with it. Yes. Deal with it.
I agree. Let me tell you, I thank you so much for sharing your story here with us. And moving forward, I know that you're stronger. I know that you're in a better place, better position to deal with it now, because you're also helping people, and we appreciate you. We appreciate that. What you want to leave with? What's the takeaway from everything?
What is the takeaway? Again, I didn't get to touch on some of the things that I am doing right now.
Yeah, we want to get to that as well.
Yeah, let me do that real quick.
Yeah.
Over the past year, I've been traveling back and forth. I've been traveling a lot, actually, because again, as I mentioned before, I started this campaign called the Good Touch versus Bad Touch campaign in Jamaica. And this is where I go in with members of the SISOCA team. And the SISOCA is the Center of Investigations for Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse. And we go into the schools, and we're talking about the very youngest ages to high schools. And we do presentations talking about good touch and bad touch. In addition to doing that, I've also, I've been doing this baby drive that I started late last year, where we're collecting items for 26 girls that are victims, ranging from the ages of 12 through 15 plus, that are all impregnated by their rapists and now left high and dry. So there's several things that we're doing. In addition to that, this July that's coming, July 2018, we're hosting an Awakened retreat. And this is where we take 30 girls and we take them from home and community. And these are all victims of child sexual abuse. And we take them to a central location and pretty much just get them on the path to healing, because we'll be having psychologists and psychotherapists and all of them come in to work with these girls. So there are several things that I personally have been doing, and been putting a team together to tackle this as best as we possibly can. But to wrap things up and to say, one of the reasons why I'm doing this, Junior, because, again, there are too many of us that are living with this trauma or have experienced this and still refuse to talk. And I need people to know with you living with this thing and we're not talking about it, that's exactly what is happening, is that we're encouraging and empowering pedophiles to keep up the sick trend. It needs to stop. People need to start speaking out about what was done to them. They need to even if they're not going to confront these bastards, but we need to do something, because this is the only way that we're going to save the younger generation. We cannot sit here idly every day talking about, yes, the children are the future, when this is affecting our children at an alarming rate. And us as adults, we're sitting and there's very little that we're doing to protect our children. Because I can't begin to tell you how many children I've come in contact with now that's telling me that whether their parents knew about it, and oh God, nothing's being done. But as a community, whether
Yeah, folks. So I hope you guys learned a lot from this engagement, this program that you saw here today. It pretty much a strong appeal to parents. Yeah, we need to listen to our children, continue to listen to our children, pay close attention. She went through this, and she's she's an adult right now. And what happened to her when she was 3-4 years old, it still traumatized her to this very sad day. And it's sad. There are a lot of people that's going through it right now. And it's traumatic, especially to see the statistics, the numbers. The numbers are high. The amount of Caribbean people in particular who have been molested at a tender age. As we said, the statistic is alarmingly high. I guess the major takeaway, as I said, parents, we need to listen to our children. Continue. Listen to our children. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for paying attention. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for liking, and continue to share this program. I'm sure that it would help someone out there that have went through a situation like this and could possibly pull from the strength of my guest. All right, we can also share her contact number if you guys want to reach out to her and talk to her, find out how she's doing now. We're going to put that in the description, in the comment section at the bottom. Thanks for watching again, guys. We appreciate you. Thank you. All right, guys, let me just say before we wrap up that a few things happening. We want you guys to support as we continue to support our community. We have the Ride Along Virtual Bingo, and that's coming up on the 28th of October this month. And that's going to be a live broadcast. It's virtual, so you can play from anywhere. Tickets are only $5. Tickets are $5, and you can obtain your tickets right now. In fact, we want you to get your ticket right now. Let me put the link is Ride by RYDEBUY.com. Click on that link and purchase your tickets. Oh, we only going to have 350 tickets, guys. It's going to be limited to 350 tickets. The jackpot is $500. We have 2 other games. We have an iPod and also an AirPod that we're going to be giving away in Game 1 and Game 2. We may add some additional games as well, but the jackpot is $500. We want you guys to go and purchase your ticket tonight. The link, I just pinned it there, is ridebuy.com. Click that link, and very easy checkout. If you don't want to use credit card, or you don't have a credit card, or for whatever reason, you could also call us and make your payment that way. You could call 718-701-5720. So you go ahead and purchase your ticket right now. We have limited tickets. We're only going to be selling 350 tickets maximum. And after that, it's all done. So go ahead and get your tickets tonight, guys. Again, if you live out of the country or you don't have a credit card, you could always call us and you could do that transaction by cash. All right. This is a fundraiser, guys. So proceeds from all fundraisers goes right back into the community. And we say thank you guys so much. We're looking to do our toy drive, we have our Christmas hamper, we have our Christmas ham special that we give out every year. All of these fundraisers goes towards assisting our community. Again, guys, thank you for watching. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Good night. Stop. Listen, don't move. I got some important information for you. Ride Along Live is moving to TikTok. And we want to take you along with us.
I'm beginning to have some serious second thoughts about this.
No, I'm not going to be dancing or nothing like that. You won't see that. But it's going to be excitement. It's going to be fun. And we're on TikTok.
Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
So click the link at the bottom and follow us on TikTok. It will be a TikToking experience. Follow us on TikTok and let's expand the platform together.
Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291-3823.
Grenadian products are now only a mouse click away at GrenadaMarket.com. Nutmeg and guava jams, jellies and syrups, world famous nutmeg pain relief spray, black sage, soursop, lemongrass, and guavande bar. Ordering is simple and friendly. All major credit cards accepted. Safe, secure shopping guaranteed. GrenadaMarket.com ships your product anywhere in the world. So when you can't go to the island, the products off the island can.
Moringa leaf is the highest concentration of vitamins of any plant on the planet. So if you're looking to get all the vitamins your body needs, get moringa. Moringa, 4 times more vitamin A than carrots, 3 times more potassium than bananas, 4 times more calcium than milk, 25 times the iron of spinach, 9 times the protein of yogurt, and 7 times the vitamin C of oranges. Stuff is amazing. It's a superfood. So go to Healing.
Yes, guys, we also got to tell you about the Moringa plant by Vingard Limited. Now, as I said, it's a superfood, guys. It's a superfood, and they're able to process this moringa into capsule, into powder, also even into oils, right? If you want to get this superfruit, super plant, almost good for every single thing, right? It's a miracle plant. You call this number right now. It's 347. Let me get it. Hold on, guys. Sorry. 347-792-9978. That's 347-792-9978. Call right now and order the moringa. It's available here in New York and they ship worldwide. Again, the number that you call tonight is 347-792-9978.